Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer, as always on the East Coast. And we look at player props here with 4 games on Thursday night. We've also got best bets up in a separate episode. So make sure you subscribe to that page. Catch both videos each and every weekday moving forward throughout this NBA seaseason. Coming off a nice 3-1, we'll give it 7-1 in the last 2 nights in both best bets and player props. So a nice little 14-2 run. Did I do that right? No. Close. We only got 2 losses in the last couple of nights. Let's put it that way and go forward because math is hard. But let's get right into your first player prop here, kid.
Yeah, been doing well with the props here later in the week after a rough Monday. That's usually how it goes if you guys are trying to tail. Maybe go later in the week at times. But look, Steph Castle, we like him in the best bets. 4.5 assists is plus money, big plus money, plus 130. But I think you only want to do a half unit there maybe and hedge with him to get 3 rebounds potentially on top of that. 7.5 rebounds is even money. They do this thing where they put the juice on the 3.5 assists because he's highly likely to get 4. But I mean, plus 130 for 5, which he's done in 4 of his last 5, to me seems worth it to at least sprinkle on. Yeah. With Wemby and Devin Vassell ruled out. CP3 is probable, but probably looking at under 30 minutes here in the rest spot. Zach Collins questionable, so it's a shorthanded-ish Spurs team. But either way, I think Castle's played his way into heavy minutes. 35 minutes last game, despite awful shooting, 3 for 13, 1 for 7 from deep. But basically the game's ceiling block on the Thunder, just a fantastic defender, a winning player, as we saw in college. And this Spurs coaching staff is kind of falling in love a little bit. And he's been the secondary playmaker alongside CP3. Well, last game, 8 dimes on 13 potential assists. CP3 only a few more at 14 potentials. Also 3 secondary assists for Castle. Actually had more touches than CP3, only 3 fewer passes. The last 5 now, he's at 9.2 potential assists per game, getting 5.4. And the last 2, the reason you can add the rebounds is Wemby's been out. And he's obviously just going to grab rebounds over everyone. If Zach Collins is out as well, this could be very much a pace and space game where guards are asked to rebound a lot more. But we've seen Castle the last 2 without Wemby go from 2.8 rebound chances to 6 per game. So obviously a much better chance of getting those 3 or 4 boards. You would need Utah, talk about 4th game of a 4-game road trip, not a team with a lot of fight on the road in general, not a team that plays much defense, allows the highest effective field goal percentage, and 2nd highest assist to turnover ratio. So it's a good matchup for a rookie to continue to find his footing on offense and just be a playmaker for a shorthanded team.
Which brings me to Kyle Filipkowski, because I think I could say a lot of the stuff that you just said about him, about Castle for Flip. I'm calling him Flip, by the way. I don't got time to be saying Filipkowski. So Flip is becoming one of my favorite players. He's been one of the favorite Jazz players. And when I saw a quote online, because I follow Sarah Todd, who covers the Jazz, and she's awesome. Definitely recommend reading her stuff. Really good writer and entertaining. She was talking about how she just had like a litany of quotes from all of these Utah Jazz players before they even stepped on the floor for their first regular season game. And they're all like, yo, this kid's nice. He looks like Doogie Howser, but he can play. And they were just really impressed with it. That was Jordan Clarkson that called him Doogie Howser. They're just very impressed with Flip. And not only his ability to shoot, we knew that he's a stretch big. He's playing defense and his passing. And that's why I like the PRA for Flip. 16.5 is so low. I mean, I think he's good for 20 in this game. I think this should be at least 18.5, to be honest. We're in a situation where Walker Kessler's still out. See the last 5 games. 1 bad game over the course of the last 5. That was, or last 6, really, the last 6 games. And the last one was the bad one. And it was against AD and the Lakers and Dalton, I can do no wrong connect. So I'm not going to hold that one quite as much against him. Not saying Dalton Connect's great on defense. That was all AD. I just wanted to mention Dalton Connect had 37 in that game, and it looks awesome. But it's a nice stretch before he got to that game because he had no Walker Kessler. Last night it was 3 points on 3 attempts, still had 5 boards, still had 6 dimes, Nate. That's what they're talking about, is the dimes for this kid. And he did that on about 10 potential assists. The rebounds up to about 12 chances per game in those last 6 without Walker Kessler. You look at those 5 before last night, or 2 nights ago, whenever they lost the Jazz, 12.5 points per game, 6.5 boards. So that gets you it right there. And the 3.2 assists per game. I love adding the dimes for him because it's a sneaky good look. And I've watched him play. He's not afraid of anybody. That's the thing that I love about him is the eye test is there for him. He comes in and just does not care that he's going up against Gafford on the boards, for instance, in one of those games where he had almost double-digit rebounds. So without Wemby and Collins, in a situation where it's looking like a lot of young backups are going to be getting a lot of minutes for both teams in this game, I like Flip, who's in the starting lineup, to keep going with that 30-plus minutes as their backup center and get over 16.5 PRA.
Yeah, and to have more usage, right? I mean, because Lauri Markkanen, he got that contract extension, and now, I mean, he's dealing with a back injury, it seems, but he's just taken a huge step back in terms of like his usage, 5% lower than last year, basically, including 20% on the road. So that opens the door for a rookie to step in and make some plays against a Spurs team that's still pretty sizable, even if they don't have Wemby. So you need kind of the multiple bigs look that the Jazz will trot out there. I'm going to take Grant Williams in this Hornets Pistons game.
Don't try not to sound like someone's like squeezing your arm to make you do it.
No, what I wanted to do was take Jalen Duren for the Pistons, and I won't hate anyone for doing that. It's just
why didn't you?
Well, the Pistons are up, JB Bickerstaff, after taking over for Monty Williams, is up to the same stupid shit.
Tomfoolery, yeah.
Where he's just benching his best players at times to play beef stew, which, gives me a little bit of pause. But I think after 2 days rest, Duren will be good to go out there and log more minutes than Stewart. The thing is, he's going to have to chase Grant out to the three-point line. He's more athletic than Stewart. So I do think he gets more time there. I mean, the Hornets, they give up fewer rebounds, but they play so small with G. Will right now. No Nick Richards, no Mark Williams still, yet to make a season debut. So they're going to try to force that small ball look, and I think Duren can just eat against that. I mean, he's even money for the double-double, so if you don't feel the confidence here with Grant, that's fine. I mean, he kind of creeps over this number when he gets it, but I mean, double-digit points, in 4 of the last 5. And 6 games since playing the Pistons where he went for 12 and 7 off the bench. Duren got injured in that game. He's averaged 33 minutes, about 13 points a game, and not necessarily doing it from the perimeter, which is where we last saw him with Boston and Dallas, right? It's just like a stand in the corner guy. Like we forget in college, this dude was a bully on the block, like very good on the interior, great touch. So, I mean, a Pistons team that's still not particularly good down there. They allow the 7th most points to centers. And Grant now is in a huge minutes role. Like they were starting Taj Gibson originally. That experiment is over. Diabate, after having a nice game on the boards against the Bucks, has played just 14 minutes per game the last 2. Couldn't stay out there against Detroit. I mean, Grant's going to have to be out there guarding 1,000 pick and rolls tonight from Cade and Ivy, basically. So I think they got to stay small. And it's at home where since he's gotten to Charlotte, he's averaged 13 and nearly 6 boards for the Hornets, kind of sparking them in that bad team theory, much better at home theory. And Grant kind of being one of the key cogs of that, just a competitor. And 10 points is pretty low for a guy who's going to play like 35 minutes.
Yeah, the points only, for sure. I would not be taking the boards against a really good rebounding team in Detroit, like really good this year. And obviously Duren, a huge part of that, off a 22 board performance. I like Duren double-double a little bit more. So I like both your plays. I don't like Grant Williams, said a lot of people. He just rubs people the wrong way. But I don't have any problem with his points, especially. And yeah, maybe he's going to bully some guys, but the 3 is still available for him. He's actually done a good amount of catching that ball in the corner and then driving the baseline. And he's been pretty good doing that as I've watched way too many Charlotte games as of late, but been watching them. So let me go ahead and close here with another Spur. We only have 8 teams playing, and I like the Spurs here. Harrison Barnes, one of the good ones, man. One of the great guys in the league. We used to call him the politician because he's probably got a future in politics. But 3.5 boards, come on, man. I know this isn't this isn't Wes Unseld here. I'm not claiming that he's going to start being Wilt Chamberlain and grab 20 boards, but like 3.5. Give me a freaking break. He just had 8 on 14 rebound chances in that game against the Thunder, where they don't have Wemby in that one. They might not have Zach Collins in this one. So is this not your center? Like, I'm sure there's going to be a dude that I need to look up on the depth chart that's buried that I maybe have heard of that'll be out there. He's been playing
Mamu Kashvili.
Oh my God, Mamo! I forgot Mamush Kalashvili, Sandro Mamu Kalashvili. That's a good look. He doesn't have props out yet, and I'm fine with that. But Sandro's going to come out at like 6.5, 7.5 if Zach is out. Zach Collins. I love Mamu Kalashvili. So yeah, that's going to be a good look. But Harrison at 3.5 is also a great look. I have zero qualms with that. 14 rebound chances a game ago. It doesn't matter if it's Sandro or Zach Collins. In fact, I prefer it to be Zach Collins. He's a much worse rebounder than Sandro. But this is pretty simple. There's no Wemby. There might not be a Collins, and you're talking about the starting power forward who's looking at another 32 minutes. And I got to believe he's going to be in double-digit rebound chances as one of the only other dudes to rebound. Like Champagny, really athletic dude. Not really looking to board up, looking to shoot and get out into transition on defense so he can catch some buckets in the lane, which is what he's been told to do. Everywhere else, yeah, this is the dude, like the strongest of the guys left. That's not Wemby and potentially Zach Collins I like there. And he's already averaging 4 on the season. This Jazz team is a better rebounding team than we might give them credit for at times, especially when John Collins is out there. I actually think he's a better rebounder than Walker Kessler overall. So I do understand all that, but he's the center. Like, it's him and Flip, and then HB going up against those guys. And I like Flip. I just talked I like him more than Harrison Barnes, to be honest. I think he has a brighter future, to be honest, in the league. At the same time, it's like Harrison Barnes has to do this and give him the 32 minutes. He's going to trip and fall into 4 boards.
Yeah, I also like this plus 150 for him to hit 2 threes. I think that's even juicier for me because the Jazz, as I mentioned, the worst effective field goal percentage defense. And look at the elevated usage here with Wemby out against the Thunder. He goes 3 for 7 from deep. That's the highest attempts of the year. 13 field goal attempts. First time taking double-digit attempts in like 9 games. And he's hit at least 1 3 in 8 straight. Attempted at least 4 in 5 of those. So I think he could continue to see those looks with Castle and CP3 feeding it to him in the corner. And yeah, Jazz ain't defending much.
That's a good point. Yeah, I like that the threes for Harrison could definitely be a good play here. It's also why I kind of like he's going to be on the baseline a lot and in the corner on offense, on the baseline on defense. So I like the boards in both areas, but the points or the threes specifically, 2, if you think he's going to take 6 to 7 threes, 2 is a wonderful number here for him to just hit 30, 28, 30%, right? So that's all the time we have for you in Play It Props, though. Continue to follow along and check out the best bets. Subscribe to that page so you don't miss any of these episodes we're putting out for you each and every weekday. Until we see you next, happy betting.